And it's encouraging to see some other young people here. Typically when we meet a lot of gray hairs. Dave Reichert has a lot more silver hair than me, so I guess that's the requirement to be governor. You gotta have more gray, silver hair. I gotta tell you, it's a personal observation of Dave Reichert, and we've appeared a lot around the state. He's a nice man, as against his opponent, whose mendacity, his meanness, is his trademark. And you mentioned that. He's just a vindictive man, angry at the world. Maybe it's because he's short or whatever. All I know is that it's not the kind of guy you want to go out to dinner with, and you certainly don't want him as your governor, which is why you're all here. You're not here to hear me speak. You're here to know and figure out what we can do to change things. Because if there's one theme that all of see around the state in groups like this, universally, it's it's time for a change. It's past time for a change. 40 years of one-party rule is quite enough. I'm crowding your picture. Hey, that's good. This is close up.
That's good.
I'll just give you a little background of Dan Matthews. I was born and raised in the north end of Seattle, as was my wife, Jan. 2 months ago, we celebrated our 51st wedding anniversary. So, yeah, you can applaud. She applauds. Oh, no. She's actually back with the baby back in Illinois, so I'm missing her. But we have 4 children and now 13 grandchildren, and they are my reason for being in this race, because the state of Washington, or one party, seems to have declared war on families and children especially. Messaging our kids with messages they don't need to hear, manipulating, and now, for God's sake, mutilating our children without our consent. This has gone far enough. We came from humble backgrounds in my family. There were 7 children, and when I was 5 and a half, my dad died of polio just 2 months before the Salk vaccine was released, leaving 7 kids, all under 13. And I see it all the time in the women, and a mom going, what the heck am I going to do now? But her faith was her foundation, her strong point, and she saw it through. She saw all 7 of us graduate from college, 5 of us with advanced degrees. It was 6 boys and a girl. My sister was a tough cookie because she had 6 brothers. She became an Olympic athlete. She now lives in Haifa, Israel. That's right, 25 miles from Lebanon, with a safe room in her house, her apartment, that she says, if I have to go off, I'll just click, but she's staying. She loves it over there. And she's a tough cookie. And I went to the University of Puget Sound after graduating from high school. Jan went to WSU. Yeah, go Cougs. And my major was political science. While I was there, I became an intern to a senator down in Olympia, and that taught me an awful lot. Mostly because understanding my dad had died, I gravitated toward mentors, and that man became a significant mentor in my life, particularly because of his incredible integrity. He was a man of such stature that whenever Fran Holman spoke on the floor of the state senate, everything would come to a stop and everyone would turn and listen, because he was such at a level so much above everyone else because of his integrity that was so well known. And that had a marked influence on my life, to see a man who was in the political arena. He wasn't there because of party or partisan, to serve the people. And I saw that time and time again working with him. And like I said, he did have a profound influence on me. Even to this day, when I talk about him, I just remember how much he taught me. Not so much in words, but in just action. Watching someone in action, that you just feel like if I can be half the man he was. After graduating from college, I was commissioned a second lieutenant in the United States Air Force. I became a pilot, and I flew in Vietnam right after that. Flew for 7.5 years, got out, went into the reserves. So I was in a total of 22 years, graduating as a lieutenant colonel with several thousand hours, and career path, of course, almost determined for me by that. While I was in the reserves, our unit at McCord was called to active duty, and I flew in a Desert Storm. So in the one war I spit on the other war we saw yellow ribbons. Kind of a real dagger, isn't it? It's about respect, I guess. Also, during my civilian time after I got out of active duty, I was elected to a school board, my first foray into the political realm, serving on the very school board that I had gone K through 12, and all my siblings gone K through 12 through the Shoreline District, and served for 4 years. Also on that school board was a lady named Patty Murray. So I've been in 3 wars. There's a big story there, but I only have 2 hours, so. I was, while I was on active duty, I took the time, I don't know how I did, but I got a master's in public administration, was intending, but I applied to one airline, Northwest Airlines. I became a pilot with them in 31 years, retiring as a senior captain, instructor, and examiner in the 747. When I hung it up from flying, I ended up with a little over, I stopped counting really, but it's at least 24,000 flight hours. Right away, almost right away from retiring, I went to work for the Boeing company as a consultant because they dangled in front of me an offer I couldn't refuse. So I served with them consulting for 8 years until COVID kicked us out the door in pilot training and leadership. And leadership is really what brings me, I guess, in front of you as well. The leadership team that has been assembled, and it's assembled, I guess, from the process, is quite remarkable in my opinion, because like I said, for the last several months, we've gone around the state and we've heard each other so much we could give our talks, couldn't we, Matt? But, I could give his talk, but he's much better at the other thing than I am, just something about carry the one throws me, but I've got to tell you that the people that the Republican Party is putting before the people is a team. It's not just a bunch of players who are going to nail down a political position. It's a team of players from Dave Reichert on down who are committed to one thing: small, limited government and big citizens. Rolling back a lot of measures, just like Mr. Trump, or President Trump and Mr. Vance are aiming to do. What Dave says is very appropriate. Change what's wrong, fix what's broken, and do what's right. That really kind of boils it down, doesn't it? There's so much that's wrong, but mostly they're not listening to the public, but really dictating to us. So my real purpose in coming down today is just to restore your confidence that there are people out there who are running, but the people who aren't here tonight are just doing just what I am somewhere else. I really encourage you with your slate card to get to know the people who are running. Go out and tell the people that we've got some great candidates, whether it's with the auditor, the treasurer, lieutenant governor, governor, on down the list. We're going to work as a team to fix what's broken, because there's a lot that's broken. And I really encourage you, go out, vote right away. We really do encourage you to vote right away. Then do an email or whatever. And these are the people I'm voting for. The issues: yes, pay less. It's as simple as that. And that really matters. Remember, if the percentages change just a little down in Olympia, they'll have a supermajority, the Democrats will. And you can bet the initiatives will go the way of the dodo bird. They'll revise that so much that we will no longer have a word in Olympia. This is one of our strongest voices. In fact, from my studies in political science, I can tell you that the state of Washington has a very unique position in this. Not every state does. So our initiative and referendum process is one to guard. And you guard it by voting carefully. But get everybody you can, the young, everyone you can to vote. Encourage them. Tell them how you're voting. Dave Larson for Supreme Court, etc. Pass the word, and then pass the word, and keep it going. Pick 10 people, and then the next day 10 more, and tell them, do the same thing. Pass this on. Because your word is important, because you are involved and you're an active. The guys who hear me talk always hear me do this because it's important to me, because it's why we're here. Our founders pledged their lives, their fortunes, and their sacred honor to this process of being a republic. We are not a democracy, we are a constitutional republic, and there is a difference. What is the difference? What is the difference? I'll do an aside real quickly. Judge Larson tells us that a democracy is 3 wolves and 2 sheep deciding what's for dinner. Okay, and then a republic is a committee of those deciding what's for dinner. Still not a good choice. Constitutional republic is when you have a document that protects the minority opinion so that they don't all become lamb chops for dinner. So, kind of an obscure way. But anyway, I'll get back to the point that I'm making in closing. And it's like your pastor, whenever he says in conclusion, it means absolutely nothing. I gotta tell you that it means a lot to me to say why we're here. Because right at the top of the Constitution, they wrote, after they had really completed the bulk of it, they wrote, "We the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America." That's why we gather. That's why we commit as much as we can, pledging our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor to do everything we can to make sure that the voice of tyranny does not prevail in this state, in this land, ever, as long as we vote. So please vote. My name is Dan Matthews, running for Lieutenant Governor. Thank you.